Hi, my name is Wan Muhammad Fidas bin Wan Zaharin 256082. Today I will present about Peter Senge. Peter Senge was born in 1947 and he is an American framework researcher who is a senior speaker at MIT Sloan School of Management. Co-workforce at the New England Complex System Institute and the originator of the Society for Organizational Learning. He is known as the writer of the book The Fifth Discipline, the art and the practice of the learning organization. Peter Senge is the establishing seat of a Society for Organizational Learning (SOL). This association assists with the correspondence of thought between Hutch partnership. It supplanted the past association known as the Center for Organizational Learning at MIT. He is a prime supporter and sits on the board of directors of the Academy for System Change. This non-benefit association work with a pioneer to develop their capacity to lead in complex social framework that cultivate organic, social, and financial prosperity. The attention is on mindfulness-based framework, thinking service, strategies, and approaches. He has had a standard reflection practice since 1969 and started pondering with an outing to Tasa Jara, a Zen Buddhist religious community, prior to going to Stanford. He suggests contemplation or comparable type of thoughtful practice. For history definition of management theory and concept, according to Peter Senge, learning organization are organization where people continually expand their capacity to create the result they truly desire, where new and expansive patterns of thinking are method, where collective aspiration is set free, and where people are continually learning to see the whole together. While all individuals have the ability to learn, the structure where they need to work are regularly not helpful for reflection and commitment. Associations that are constantly extending their ability to make their future require a basic move of cycle among their individuals. For Peter Senge, genuine learning get to the core of what is it to be human. We become ready to remake ourselves. This applies to the two people and association. Hence, for a learning association, is not sufficient to endure. Endurance learning, or what is all the more regularly named versatile learning, is significant. To be sure, it is fundamental. Yet, for a learning association, versatile learning must be joined by generative picking up, discovering that improve our ability to make. The measurement that recognize gaining from more conventional association is the authority of certain essential order or segment advancement. The five that Peter Senge recognized are supposed to join to advance learning association. There are: first is system thinking, second is personal mastery, mental model, building shared vision, and lastly is team learning.
So, as you all know, Peter Senge uh, released his own book and theory, which is the fifth discipline on management. So, from his uh, foundings, or which I would say his system of management theory, has elements, which is the shared vision, implies all representatives in a company share the same vision of where the organization must go. So, all of the team or the staff of the company will have the same vision of where the organization go, so it will be much more easier for the company to achieve goals. And secondly, the mental models. For the mental models, they portray the assumption and generalization individuals have which impact in their activities. They usually can develop a person fear of doing something. Instead, they do not need to fear on doing something, because this system of management from Peter Senge allowing the organization to improve in the meantime on conducting their management. So third is the personal mastery, which portrays the quality of individuals to be proactive and keep on learning to persistently accomplish counts about which are critical for them. Usually we have, for example, we have a team member or one of staff is a master of certain things, so the quality of the individual will be affect the management to accomplish more and also improve. So fourthly, there is the team learning. The team learning incorporates two angles. Compelling collaboration leads to comes about which people might not have accomplished on their claim, and people inside the group learn more and faster than they would have without the group. For example, if we let individual to improve on their own, which is much slower, is much slower than when the then if all of the staff or team members they learn they learn together. So this shows that team learning incorporates two angles. That's why. And lastly, the system thinking. The system thinking is utilized to analyze designs in an organization by looking at it from an all-encompassing perspective instead of little disconnected sensible parts, which means that system thinking, that all of the staff or members have to think like they are in the system, like they are being part of the organization successful good management. So they have to know that even the smallest roles really are actually give out the income of the management theory. Yeah, so this also will help to increase efficiency. Okay, so for now we'll be continuing with contribution or benefit of management theory by Peter Senge. So Senge management theory are compelling scholarly hypotheses that center on organizations making situations where individuals, both pioneers and subordinates, are learning, which mean the organization are continuing learning. And the management theory of Peter Senge is stick with variables that incorporate considering naturally and going past the fundamental system of the organization. A Peter Senge learning organization requires modern sorts of management models, which is the Peter Senge mental models reflects his conviction that the way we handle data, the way we see reality, is regularly off base, and Peter Senge's hypothesis that are composed for practicing and trying directors, which mean all of the management can try all of things. So Peter Senge's system considers that in arranging for organizations to exceed expectations in today's climate, they ought to be imaginative and self-sustaining.
Hi, today I will present about Peter Senge's background. First, Peter Senge was born in 1947. An American frameworks researcher who is a senior speaker at the MIT Sloan School of Management, co-workforce at the New England Complex Systems Institute, and the originator of the Society for Organizational Learning. He is known as the writer of the book The Fifth Discipline, The Art and Practice of the Learning Organization, 1990, Fire Up. 2006. Peter Senge was conceived in Stanford, California. He got a BS in aerospace designing from Stanford University. While at Stanford, Senge additionally considered way of thinking. He later acquired a MS in social frameworks demonstrating from MIT in 1972, just as a PhD in management from the MIT Sloan School of Management in 1978. He is the establishing seat of the Society for Organizational Learning (SOL). This association assists with the correspondence of thoughts between huge partnerships. It supplanted the past association known as the Center for Organizational Learning at MIT. He is prime supporter, and sits on the board of directors of the Academy for Systems Change. This non-benefit association works with pioneers to develop their capacity to lead in complex social frameworks that cultivate organic, social and financial prosperity. The attention is on mindfulness-based frameworks, thinking devices, strategies and approaches. He has had a standard reflection practice since 1996 and started pondering with an outing to Tassajara, a Zen Buddhist religious community, prior to going to Stanford. He suggests contemplation or comparable types of thoughtful practice. An engineer by training, Peter was a protege of John H. Hopkins and has followed intently crafted by Michael Peters and Robert Fritz and put together his books with respect to spearheading work with the 5 orders at Ford, Chrysler, Shell, AT Corporation, Hanover Insurance, and Harley-Davidson, since the 1970s.